I'm sure you've heard it said, there's a total disregard for authority in our society. To some people it seems that people no longer believe all the things that everyone used to believe, and people no longer respect the authorities that were once considered unquestionable. Well, to me that raises the question of what is authority anyway? Is there any good reason why these authorities should have been trusted and obeyed in the first place, let alone now? What gives someone authority? Perhaps some breakdown of authority is actually for very good reasons. And some of us are stubborn in our belief that we don't just obey someone because they have a position of authority. Maybe that applies to the clergy. Maybe that applies to politicians also. But then who am I to say? The word authority comes up twice in today's reading. And one of the perplexing but yet intriguing things about Mark's Gospel is that he frequently tells us that Jesus was teaching, and the people were amazed at his teaching and said he spoke as one with authority. And it's perplexing because Mark tells us very little of what Jesus actually said. There may be a clue in the passage, though. The people were amazed at his teaching. Then he sets a man free from the grip of evil, and the people are even more amazed at his teaching. And that would suggest that what we're seeing here, and perhaps frequently in Mark's Gospel, is enacted teaching. What Jesus does is a direct outworking of what he's been saying. And when the people see it happening in practice, they recognize it as more than mere words, but as teaching with authority. Now, there are 2 points which the reference to authority comes in this reading. First, the people are astounded because Jesus taught as one having authority. And that suggests that Jesus' style of teaching seemed more authoritative than what the people were used to, regardless of what he might be saying. Exactly what that means is a matter of speculation, but we can have a fairly good educated guess. The most common style of the rabbis in Jesus' day was to teach by continual reference back to earlier authorities. In other words, the authority of the rabbis would come by presenting the teaching of renowned rabbis who had gone before them. But the impression that we get from the Gospels is that Jesus didn't usually do that. Instead, he just taught what he thought, as though the truth of what he said was self-evident. He taught with authority, rather than as one who needed to appeal to an external authority. And the second point in the story, when the issue of authority comes up, is after Jesus healed the man. And this time, it's the teaching itself that is described as having authority. When Jesus speaks, things happen. There's authority in what he says. And Jesus speaks to the people, and we can surmise that his message is a message of freedom from the oppression of evil. And when the people see that this is not just words, but something that has immediate impact in their midst, they identify it as teaching that has authority. So the whole focus of Jesus' authority is related to what he says and does, not to some badge of office that he wears. And there's no suggestion that Jesus has authority because he is a properly ordained rabbi. People listened to him and found what he said to be convincing. His authority is earned, and it's earned by the fact that his message is a message of freedom and hope that is backed up by people actually being set free at his word and touch. Ursula Le Guin was a sci-fi writer, and in one of her stories she said the following: "It's not about Jesus, but it could be." She says, "His authority was in fact immense, but he never stood on it. He sat down on it comfortably and invited you to sit down with him." So what we see is Jesus moving away from the authority based simply on established office. I'm the rabbi, you listen to me. The model of authority that stands up to scrutiny is that what is earned by the wise and compassionate sharing of knowledge and power, and that brings hope, healing, and freedom from all that would oppress, control, and harm people. His authority was in fact immense, but he never stood on it. He sat down on it comfortably and invited you to sit down with him. Amen.